sorry. Alright. Time to just freely quest now. With no worry of the limitations of combat. Although I should get a weapon. This is something cheap. Where do I get scimitars? I think Civitas or whatever it's called, Varlamore has them. I could check, but I want to go off memory. I just get myself a decent little scimitar, I should be fine. I think the shop's down here. No, it's over here. There's a death domain here, what the fuck? Alright. I just need any standard weapon for now. There we go. I don't want to spend too much. God knows how many times I need to fucking head to, what's it called? I forgot the name of the place. Entrana. Alright. I'm sort of going in order of release date for what I can do. We've got Merlin's Crystal here, which starts with King Arthur in Camelot Castle. Let's do it. There he is. Hello, King Arthur. Welcome to my court. I am King Arthur of the Knights of the Round Table. Just make sure I definitely got my UIM. Yeah. I want to become a Knight of the Round Table. Really? Well, then you'll need to go on a quest to prove yourself worthy. My knights all appreciate a good quest. Unfortunately, our current quest is to rescue Merlin. He recently got himself trapped in some sort of magical crystal. We moved him from the cave we found him in, and now he's upstairs in his tower. Let's do it. Talk to my knights if you need any help. Oh, I need something. I got nothing right now. Good day to you. Any ideas on how to get Merlin out of the crystal? I'm a little stumped myself. We've tried opening it with anything and everything. What about how he got himself trapped? I would guess this is the work of the evil Morgan Le Fay. And where could I find her? There's a stronghold south of here, guarded by some renegade knights led by Sir Mordred. Any idea how to get in? No, you've got me stumped there. You are just always stumped. Is that information there? Renegade Knights. Okay, let me see if anyone else has anything. Palamedes. I'd like some advice on breaking into Mordred's fort. Sorry, I can't help you with that. I need to get into Mordred's fortress. So you think Mordred is behind this? I'm afraid I don't have any suggestions. Try to find someone who does. Great. Maybe King Arthur? No. Useless king. Speak to Sir Kay. Good morrow. Any ideas on getting to Mordred's fort? So you think he may be involved? I think he may be onto something there. Unfortunately, his fortress is impregnable. I'll figure something out. I'll just go down there. I don't remember this place. What is this place? What fort is it? Oh, Keep Le Fay. Let's see. Is it actually impregnable? Let's find out. Owned by the evil Sir Mordred. Let's get my sword out. Seems pretty easy. Do I just walk in? Who's inside? Renegade Knight. Can I just open it? Nope. Knock at door. You hear a voice from inside. Yes, what do you want? Can I interest you in some double glazing? An old castle like this must get very draughty in the winter. No, get out of here before I run you through. Looks like you have to find another way in. Let me try knocking again. See all the dialogue options. Have you ever thought about letting Saradomin into your life? I have some pamphlets you may be interested in reading and discussing with me. No, go away. Let's try pizza delivery. We didn't order any pizza, get lost. Okay. Need to find another way in. There's a door around the back. Well, I doubt it's going to be as simple as that. Oh, you can't actually... Right, I didn't see the fence there. Is this going to be something like get into a crate or something for a shipment? Alright, let's head back to the castle. Maybe there's still more knights I could speak to. Could have just used the Camelot teleport, to be fair. It's not like money's an issue right now. I'll go upstairs, maybe there's someone in... Oh, I haven't actually checked the crystal itself as well. I should probably check that out. Let's go up here. Sir Tristram, hail Arthur, King of the Britons. Hello. I need to get into Mordred's fort. Good luck with that. Okay, great. Who else is there? Sir Lancelot. Well, he's important. Greatest knight in the land. What do you want? I want to get Merlin out of the crystal. Well, if the Knights of the Round Table can't manage it, I can't see how a commoner like you could succeed where we have failed. Wow, you're a cunt. Any ideas how to get into the stronghold? Stronghold is built in a strong defensive position. It's on a big rock sticking out into the sea. There are two ways that I know of. Large heavy front doors in the sea entrance, only penetrable by boat. They get all their deliveries by boat from Catherby. There we go. Now we're cooking. So I do have to get into like a ship. There might be a way. Yeah, alright, let's head to Catherby then. I guess speak to someone at the dock. I should probably also check out where Merlin is. See if there's any information I can get from that. Of course I picked the wrong fucking tower. Smash. Oh, okay, so there's nothing I can really do. Alright. The Wedge? Who the fuck is the Wedge? Wait, how long's this guy been here? Huh? Is that the Tusk guy? Did they change him? I swear there was a different guy. Oh yeah, it is. What the fuck? Am I going mad? I could have sworn it was someone else for the Tusks here. Weird. How many NPCs are out here? I only know of the vendor. Oh, there's chart. You can charter here? I actually had no idea. Holy shit. Let's speak to the vendor. Is that your ship? Yes, I use it to make deliveries to my customers up and down the coast. The crates here are all ready for my next trip. Do you deliver to the fortress down the coast? Yes, I do have orders to deliver there from time to time. I think I may have some bits and pieces for them when I leave here next, actually. Can you drop me off on the way down? I don't think Sir Mordred would like that. He wants as few outsiders visiting as possible. I wouldn't want to lose his business. Can I just get inside? This crate looks weird. What other dialogue options are there? Do you deliver to the fortress down the coast? Aren't you worried about supplying evil knights? Hey, you gotta take business where you can find it. If I didn't supply them, someone else would. I love that answer. Just get on the boat, maybe? Hey buddy, get away from my ship, alright? Sorry, okay. So I can't just get on the ship, I can't just get in a box. Barrel? What have I missed here? Ready for my next trip. Where do you deliver to? Mostly Karamdra and Potsarum. Don't suppose I could get a lift anywhere. Sorry pal, but I'm afraid you're not quite ready to sail yet. I'm waiting on a big delivery of candles which I need to deliver further along the coast. Okay, that might be some info. It's the candle maker. Be interested in some of my fine candles? No? Oh, I guess I have to just trade. Do I just... There's no way I can just buy him a cat. Oh! Hide in crate, there we go. Crate's empty, it's just about big enough to hide inside, yes. Take me in. Oh, you climb inside the crate and wait. Tall crate, Jesus. Or am I crouching? And wait, and wait. You hear voices. Is this your crate, Arhine? Yeah, I think so. Pack it aboard as soon as you can. I'm tight on schedule for deliveries. You feel the crate being lifted. This is pretty heavy. I never knew candles weighed so much. Quit your whining and stow it in the hold. You feel the crate being put down inside the ship. You wait and wait. Casting off. You feel the ship start to move. Feels like you're now at sea. The ship comes to a stop. Unload Mordred's deliveries onto the jetty. Aye, aye, Captain. You feel the crate being lifted. There's someone mumbling outside the crate. Stupid Arhine making me candles. Never weighed this much. Hurts. Union about... Oh, it's just like mumbling. Okay. Let's just get along with this. Would you like to get back out of the crate? Yes. There we go. So this could be a bit awkward because I'm just going to walk in and get attacked. The question is, do I just beeline it for the top? Yeah, I guess so. Ow. Good night. Oh, hey, Sir Mordred. You dare to invade my stronghold? Have at thee, knave. Get fucked. Flick just in case. Just in case he's got a phase 2. I need to turn off the fucking... I'll turn down the sound effect for that, Jesus Christ. Stop, please spare my son. tell me how to untrap Merlin and I might. You've guessed correctly that I'm responsible for that. I suppose I can live with that fool Merlin being loose for the sake of my son. Setting him free won't be easy, though. You'll need to find a magic symbol as close to the crystal as you can find. Oh, look, kids, thank you for the bit. Hello. You will then need to drop some bat's bones on the magic symbol while holding a lit black candle. This will summon the mighty spirit named Thrantax. Okay, I should have started writing this down. You'll need to bind him with magic words. Then you will need the sword Excalibur, with which the spell was bound in order to shatter the crystal. Where do I find Excalibur? The Lady of the Lake has it. I don't know if she'll give it to you though. She can be rather temperamental. Oh, the one at right. I forgot about her. The one at the Sears. No, not Sears. The Druids. Taverley. What are the magic words? You'll find the magic words at the base of one of the Chaos Altars. Wait, do I need a Chaos Talisman? Which Chaos Altar I cannot remember. Okay, I'll go do that. Morgan Le Fay vanishes. What? A magic symbol close to the crystal I can possibly find. To bind Thrantax, I'll need the following. Some magic words from a Chaos Altar. I don't even know where you get a black candle. I know where to get candle. Oh, maybe if I just speak to the candle maker, he might give me something. I wonder if it's easy to just go out here. Ow. Leave me alone. Can I just go through the front door? I'm glad they don't chase me down or anything. It's like, oh no, he stepped out the door, he got away. Right, there's the candle maker. See what he says to making a black candle. Because he doesn't sell them, I know that much. Have you got any black candles? There we go. Black candles? In the candle making trade, we have a tradition that isn't very that it's very bad luck to make black candles. Very bad luck. I will pay good money for one. Still don't know. Tell you what, I'll supply you with a black candle if you can bring me a bucket full of wax. Well, that doesn't sound very hard. I actually don't know where to get wax, besides maybe the beehives over there. Let's just get a bucket. Can't see this being an issue, right? Take from beehive? Oh, ow. Okay. Oh, it just keeps spawning them. Isn't there someone who, like, lives here? Where is he? You. Flax Keeper. Oh, I don't think this is gonna help. Where bees live? Well, that doesn't help. How do I avoid getting stung by bees? Just wear clothes. How do I get the fucking wax? Examine the swan? No. Maybe you can find something to drive them away briefly. Can I? Drive them away briefly. Oh. Where did I see something? Did I see like insect repellent somewhere on the ground? I could have sworn. Don't tell me it was up here. I've got a feeling I saw it, but I don't remember where I saw it. Was it at the castle? I thought I saw something that said repellent. I wonder if I speak to King Arthur, will he help me with any of this? definitely didn't see it here, I guess. Talk to King Arthur. Oh good, so you've got no information for me. It wasn't in this castle, was it? What's that? Fire rune? No. Ooh, I can recharge my prayer. Where did I see something say fucking repellent? I guess that's where the spell happens. Where was this? Was it in Catherby? What's that item? There it is. Okay, that's where I saw it. Yeah. Could have sworn I saw something. Yeah. So I guess I get some of that. Wait, is this the... Oh yeah. Did not know he was here. I thought he was only in Lumbridge. Cool. So I guess I just try spraying the thing. I should have leveled my agility. I've been trying to level my construction like for some of the day, and it's just been a nightmare. You see the bees leaving the hive. You get some wax. There we go. Hold on to that for a sec, just in case he asks for more wax. Like, leveling construction as Ultimate Iron Man is fucking awful. Have you got any wax yet? Yes, I have some now. Oh, cool. Okay, so I got the candle. Has to be lit. What else is there? The Holy Sword Excalibur from the Lady of the Lake. Some bat bones. Wait, when the fuck did she say bat bones? I didn't see that. Some magic words from a Chaos Altar. Do I need to get into the Chaos Altar? I really hope I don't need a Chaos Talisman. Where is the Chaos? It's in the fucking wilderness. You fuck. Hello, Elith. Let me see how to get a talisman. Osiris Chaos Talisman. I really hope I don't need a Chaos Talisman. Hang on, what's my rune crafting? There's no way. There's no way I need to get in. Because I literally can't. Yeah, it has to be like on the side or something. But just in case I do need a Chaos Talisman. It didn't say I required... Wow, that's some shit. So Chaos Talismans aren't going to be easy to get a hold of. Cool. Let's hope I don't need one then. I need to go to the wilderness, I guess. I just hope I don't get attacked. It's not too high in the wilderness, but it's just a bit awkward is all. I don't know if I want to do this on World 2. 302 or whatever. We'll see. Let me get magic into my quick prayer just in case. I'd be surprised if there was anyone around my level anyways. Not a very high level. I don't have auto retaliate on. Oh, good. Guess I'll try it, but let's see what we got around us. Level 100, that's fine. Okay. Don't see anyone who's gonna try and snipe me. No one would be that oh, there's someone there who could probably hit me. But they look pretty fucking weak, so it should be fine. I'm gonna go a bit further just in case. Alright, here we go. Oh, this is almost exactly under it anyways. Maybe I shouldn't carry it. Maybe my pet shouldn't be on the ground, like, fucking giving away my position. Probably don't want to be near that. I don't know what's going on there. So I think it's like at level 20 I can no longer teleport, so as long as I've still got my runes I should be fine. Here it is. How do I... where's the inscription on this altar? Oh, I think I do actually need to get inside. You're joking. A chaos altar. From a chaos altar. Oh, I'm such an idiot. Oh my god. You are, yeah. I mistook it for the... Because this is called a chaos altar, but I think it's referring to these chaos altars, like the Zamorak altars. Which one is over here? I don't need to go into the fucking wilderness. Although I might have to. I don't know if this one counts. The only other one I know is... Actually, there's two? Only two others I know? Just look up a guide. Shut the fuck up. There it is. The Chaos Altar. I only know of like two other Chaos Altars. One near Ardoin. And the other being in the wilderness. Examine. Does it say a chaos altar, like just any of them, or from a chaos altar? So I guess it could be others. Maybe the one in Ardoin then? Might be quicker if I just use the cloak. I don't know of any others. And I don't really want to go to the wilderness. What other altars are there? Holy shit, there's so many altars in the game. Where else is there a chaos altar? I would rather just extend all my resources going everywhere but the wilderness. So this one here should be a chaos altar. When it highlights, yeah, there it is. Let's have a look at this. People about the Helldivers too. Oh right. People who are watching We'll post. Oh, the Xbox announcement. Yeah. Yeah, that one was a weird one. I didn't watch it, but I heard about it. It was just kind of like, you sure, man? Ladder next to an archaeological dig. No, that's not what I want to talk about. Okay, what other Chaos Altars are in the game? OS, RS, Chaos. I can go for the studio and all, but it wasn't much of an announcement due to the current player base. Yeah, I think it was because it was being announced. Like, yeah, it just... There will be a small group of players who will play it on the Xbox, but... I feel like over the years where every game is releasing on Xbox like fucking a year too late, it's making people just not want Xboxes. Like, or rather, people who've gotten Xboxes have already moved on to either PC or PlayStation. So you've already lost that player base anyways. Like, it's nice that they have it, but, you know, that... I don't think that you're getting many people. It's more of a charity at this point, isn't it? Chaos Altar. Not this Chaos Altar, for prayer, yeah. Black Knight's Fortress. Was that the one I was at? No, that's a different one. Huh? Ariana Cave Entrance, yep. Chaos Temple. That's the one I did. Deep Wilderness Chaos Temple. Oh, there's a regular Wilderness Chaos Temple. Underground Pass? Probably not. Southeast Varrock. Huh? Oh, yeah, shit. I forgot about that one. Yeah, that one's an easy one. Yeah, I forgot this was for, like, a few quests. Let's see what other ones there are. Yanil Agility Dungeon, Castle Wars? What? Oh, there it is. Check Chaos Altar. Alright. You find a small inscription at the bottom of the altar. It reads, Snarthon Candtrick Tormentor. I'm writing this down. There's notepad. Snarthon Candtrick Tormento. Okay. So that's that. Does it come up in the quest as well? No, it doesn't. You actually have to remember it. Goddamn. Holy Sword Excalibur from the Lady of the Lake and some bat bones. Didn't I just see some bats somewhere? Literally down here was some bats. And I'll need to... What's the easiest way to the Lady of the Lake? Agility shortcut from Varrock? There we go. Man, I can't wait to get 60 attacks so I can finally wear a fucking dragon weapon. I'm gonna be dragon daggering the fuck out of everything. There we go, here's the backbones. Falador. So there should be a shortcut here, which I think is quicker, but it doesn't fucking look like it. Nah, you know what, I think it's just faster to go this way. I should really level up my agility. I can get up places like this. How much does that require? 66? I don't hate myself that much. I did on my main. I don't hate myself enough on this. Although it would be a good idea to get my agility up, because I'm constantly doing Valamore to make money. I was about to bury that. And I think I'd rather just do the fucking... the pyramid. Lady of the Lake. I could probably put my pet back then. Good day to you. I seek the sword Excalibur. I have that artifact in my possession. Oh, great. Well, that was easy. It is very valuable and not an artifact to be given away lightly. Did you not know that I'm the Dragon Slayer of Crandor? I would want to give it away only to the one who is worthy and good. And how am I meant to prove that? I shall set a test for you. First, I need you to travel to Port Sarum, then go upstairs. Go to the upstairs room of the jeweler's shop there. Okay, that seems easy enough. Okay. Just do outside house. It's pretty fucking simple. This feels like a trick. Baby dragon murderer? Not a baby. I will show you a baby dragon in a minute. And then you'll see the difference and you can stop whining like a baby. Which one's the jeweler's? This one. Please, stranger, my family and I are starving. Oh, is this like a test? Could you find it in your heart to spare me a simple loaf of bread? Yes, certainly. Except I don't have any bread at me at the moment. Well, if you get some, you know where to come. Right. I know where to get some. It's kind of funny, I'm literally going to go steal some bread. Rather than just buying the bread. See, kid, all you had to do was steal some bread. And that's the moral of the story. If you're hungry, just steal bread. Don't do that, obviously. For legal reasons, I have to say don't steal bread or anything. Generally stealing is bad. What? Have you got any bread for me yet? Yes, here you go. You give the bread to the beggar. Thank you very much. The beggar has turned into the Lady of the Lake. No way! She just wanted some bread. Well done, you've passed my test. Here is Excalibur, guard it well. I stole some bread for the Excalibur. Was that? Whatever. Where do I go now? Falador? Show you a fucking baby dragon. And then you're gonna look like an idiot. I'm pretty sure they're over here somewhere. There's baby dragons in this area. Baby blue dragons. Which are a lower level than Elvarg. Okay, I'm just gonna use my ring. I'm getting sick of walking. Fuck this. It's bad, but stealing the future from generations to come by hoarding wealth and investing in harmful industries is fine. Exactly, so you get it. Yeah. Just making loads of money and then never spending that money is better. Yeah, that's exactly how it works. There's your fucking baby dragon, alright? Look at that. There's your baby compared to the actual one. Alright, looks like a weird fucked up Spyro mixed with the monster from Jade Cocoon. Yeah. Eat that. Right, oh, I've got my Excalibur. I didn't actually need to come back here. Let's light the candle. Let's see what the quest says. The magic symbol close to the crystal I can possibly find. So I just need to have a look at the thing. It's just a toddler. Oh, yeah, okay. It was just a fucking toddler, yeah. Camelot. Fucking bitch. I hope this demon doesn't do, like, mixed attacks. Because I only have prepared for single attacks and I have no food. So the symbol on the crystal. I'm just assuming I go over there, but do I need to, like, pick a symbol out then? Is that the idea? I don't get it. What? As close to the crystal as I can possibly find. So just the symbol is representative of a crystal then, I guess. Well, let me see. Maybe if I count the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's hexagonal. And... yeah. Thin on the bottom, wide in the middle, thin at the top. Alright, I can remember that. I was about to just teleport to cat. I mean, to be fair, I don't have the energy for this. It's just fucking... the energy to walk out the door. So do I just do this over here then, or... Let me speak to Arthur. Actually, I probably shouldn't have teleported now that I think about it. I've just wasted energy. I'll teleport when I'm done talking to Arthur. Wait, you're not Arthur. What the fuck is Arthur? I'm gonna become a knight of the round table. Oh. Well, no one's helping me. What do you mean I need to find Excalibur? I've literally got it right here. What do you mean find Excalibur? Why is every dialogue about finding Excalibur? Oh, for God's sakes. What about Lancelot? Let me see what that prick says. Probably nothing good because he's an absolute dickhead. What do you want? I need to get Merlin out of the crystal. Okay, fuck you, man. Alright, let me see. As close to the crystal as I can possibly find. I'm just gonna go out to that bit in the courtyard. Wait, what is this? Temporarily increase your defense by 8? Holy shit, that's nice. I finally have a weapon with a special attack. Although I assume the damage is garbage. It has good stab. Is it wait, is it better stab though? That's the question, I suppose. Let me see. No, it's still better for slash. Okay, so it sucks. Alright, that's good to know. So is this the thing that I need to go to? Do I just drop this stuff? That doesn't seem right, does it? Wait, what's this statue? I'm just gonna teleport again. It's alright, Camelot teleports are the cheapest anyways, it's fine. The closest to the symbol. The symbol is closest to the crystal. What does that mean? You search the statue but find nothing interesting. What does that fucking mean? Do I just need to go speak to the lady again? I doubt they'll let me through the front door, but... Be careful not to bury that. I mean, let me see if I can just get inside the box again. Hide in crate. Yep, hide inside the crate. I like how they never figured out that this is how I got in the first place. So I'm just skipping dialogue. There we go. I'm just like, how the hell did he get it? Ow! What the fuck? That guy was just waiting at the door to smack me. Jesus. Holy fuck. Alright, talk to Mordred. Oh, okay, we're doing this again, are we? Understandable. Fuck you. Oh, I took it off. It's not going down as easily as last time. I just shot. I'm hoping he just fucking dies at this point. Come on. Come on. There we go. Please spare my son. Tell me how to get Merlin out. Merlin being loose, blah 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 blah. You will need to find a magic symbol as close to the crystal as you can find. Okay, that literally didn't give me more information. You'll then need to drop some bat's bones on the magic symbol while holding a lit black candle. This will summon the mighty spirit named Thrantex. You will need to hold him with magic words. Then you'll need the sword, which was... Okay, alright. Okay, so that's what I got wrong. Basically, everything. I just needed to drop the bat bones. I'm gonna... Before I start, I'm gonna go... replenish my health real quick. Good job. I saw the things getting mentioned and I was like, get this, get this, get that. I didn't think about the fucking rest of it. I didn't think about the words in between. Usually the words in between aren't that important. Can I get a lobster pot? Actually, can I just get something I can cook? No, I can't. Oh, actually, technically I can, but... Yeah. Lobster pot. I'm not gonna, like, fish an inventory full. I'm just gonna get a bunch and then go... Need to go back to the library and understand the... Fuck off with the library. Does it actually say it in the quest? Okay, yeah, it doesn't actually tell you need to put it down in any order. Alright, one or two more should be fine. I don't know why I'm carrying a hammer and a saw. I don't need that anymore. Come on. Come on, fish. Fish that shit. Hello? Oh, just stop. Alright, that'll be enough. Where's the range? Nice. 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 Get one more. Fuck. It's fine, I don't need that many anyways. I'm gonna be relying on prayer. I'm gonna be relying on the power of Jesus. Let's get the Excalibur on. So just drop the bat bones. There we go. Okay. Suddenly a mighty spirit appears. Now what were those magic words again? Snarthon Cantrictamanto. Garg. Garg even. Thou hast me in thine control, so that I mayst return from whence I came. I must grant thee a boon. What dost thou wish of me? I wish to free Merlin from his giant crystal. Grrrr! New HDMO. This is to help create a new training facility on Zegema Paradise. New training facility? Is that going to be the new tutorial zone then? The deed is done. Thou mayst now shatter Merlin's crystal with Excalibur, and I can once more rest. Begone, and leave me once more in peace. Oh, I thought there was going to be a battle. Oh, I was like ready for a showdown. Alright. Cool, that was easy. The place mentioned in Starship... Oh! I see. I didn't... I do not remember any of the names of anything in Starship Troopers, but that's cool. That's a nice little nod. I still can't believe it took this long for, like, a popular game to be, like, a popular Starship Troopers-esque game. Considering, like, how great the movie was. It's funny that it took this long to get one going. I mean, obviously they had Helldivers 1, but it wasn't quite the same. Smash Giant Crystal. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's not fun being trapped in a giant crystal. Go speak to King Arthur, I'm sure he'll reward you. Nice. Okay, let's go get our rewards. I'll stick with the adamant thing. See, I think it was like 20 player lobbies versus bugs. Yeah, it wasn't quite. It's not quite the same thing. Like, I've not heard much bad about it, but I've not heard like anything amazing from it. Like, I know people have enjoyed it. Shit, which game is it? There's a bunch apparently. Is it Extermination? I think it might have been that, yeah. But nothing much else. Yeah, yeah. Like, it didn't get much negative feedback, but I guess it sort of just... It was above mid. But like, yeah, basically like Robocop. Oh, apparently it's not doing too well right now. Apparently they've been... unironically adding bugs to the game. Are you winning? Yeah, I just finished my first quest today. I have freed Merlin from his crystal. Good job. Well done. I dubbed thee Knight of the Round Table. You are now an honorary knight. 6 quest points? How useless for me. Damn, I was really hoping for something. Okay. Well, now I just got a bunch of garbage and an Excalibur, which is also kind of garbage. Can I high elk it? It's not even worth high elking. Just fucking leave it on the floor. Drop the tinderbox, drop the candle, drop the fucking insect repellent. Hold on to that, get rid of that. Don't really need the lobster pot. Failed his reading test though and had to redo it. Just chuck into a lake for someone else to find. It's fine, it's just on the floor in King Arthur's castle. I'm sure this is fine, right? Alright, let's see. What have I got next? Scorpion Catcher. Combat level 40? We start this quest by talking to Thormac in the Sorcerer's Tower, south of Sears Village. Oh, well, I'm already here. Cool. The Sorcerer's Tower. Yeah. But yeah, like now that I've got my prayer high enough to just do all the different types of protects, I just have so much freedom in questing. It's so good. And I can, not only that, but I also have the ability to just buy lore runes now, which lets me just teleport anywhere I fucking want, all the time. Which just simplifies everything. God, it feels good. And then also my fucking thieving, which I've been getting a lot out of. Which I think I've actually got my thieving higher on this than I have on my main. Which is ridiculous, but it's the only way I can make money in this game, as a UIM. Like, the Monster of the World, those are doing token optimization, how they optimize the game during development. I mean, you could argue they optimized it, it's just that they didn't optimize it for the player, they optimized it for sales. They optimized profits, they didn't optimize the actual game itself. Hello, Thormac. Hello, I am Thormac the Sorcerer. I don't suppose you could be of assistance to me. What do you need assistance with? I've lost my pet scorpions. They're lesser Carid scorpions, a very rare breed. I left their cage door open and now I don't know where they've gone. There's 3 of them and they're quick little beasties. They're all over Gielinor. Ah. How would I go about catching them? Well, I have a scorpion cage here which you can use to catch them in. If you go to the village of Sears to the north of here, one of them will be able to tell you where the scorpions are now. One of them was in one of the Sears. Sure. Why couldn't you tell me? You're a fucking wizard, man. What's your problem? Did he say who? Give me a name? I need to go to Sears, just any fucking seer in the village. Great. Just a fucking seer somewhere. You're a seer. Many greetings. I need to locate scorpions. Well, you've come to the right place. I am a master of animal detection. Do you need to locate any particular scorpion? Scorpions are a creature somewhat in abundance. I'm looking for some lesser Carid scorpions. They belong to Thormac the Sorcerer. Let me look into my looking glass. I can see the scorpion that you seek. It would appear to be near some nasty spiders. I can see 2 coffins there as well. The scorpion seems to be going through some crack in the wall. It's gone into some sort of secret room. We'll see if you can find that scorpion, then I'll try to get you information on the others. So, I'm thinking of the only place I can think of that has coffins right now. Coffins. Did it say coffins or coffins? Coffins. I'm pretty sure there's coffins above... in Edgeville, but I don't know if that's the place. You're going through a crack in the wall, it's gone into some sort of secret room. And I know of a secret room in Edgeville, but I don't know, I can't remember what quest that's related to. I might as well give it a go. See how it goes. coffins. The only other coffin I can think of off the top of my head is one room that has a singular coffin, which is the one under Draenor Manor. But I'm sure there's like plenty of places that have coffins. It could be somewhere in. No, I'm gonna commit to this. I think it's got to be this, right? He said 2 coffins. Hang on, I've still got the dialogue here. I can see 2 coffins there as well. How many coffins are here? Because I thought there were more than 2. There's Death's Domain. There's a Death's Domain. Did they just add Death's Domain fucking everywhere? 1, 2. Yeah, there's a bunch of coffins here, so I don't think this is right. I'll commit though. Let's do it. Because I know about a secret passage, or a secret room, I just don't remember how to get in there. Let's have a look. So... yeah, so this is like the secret area. Wait, no, this isn't the secret area, that's the Hellrat stuff. There's a different room. This is the secret room here. Look, you can see the... push odd-looking wall. Is this not it? What did he say about the secret room? Search crate. He's shutting down Anthem next. I'm sorry, Anthem is still. I didn't even know Anthem was still live. We can even the single player stuff due to being an online only game. I wonder why they're trying. I wonder why they're rushing to shut that down. It's almost as if something just passed recently, and it's probably going to take a while for the, you know, the actual law to finish getting settled. Should it fully pass? But you know, so it ain't this place. What other place has coffins? Are there any other details in here? There's some nasty spiders. Right, I forgot about that. With 2 coffins nearby. Nasty spiders with 2 coffins nearby. So there's a bunch of spiders all over the fucking game, for starters. Coffins? And spiders. I know where a lot of spiders are, but coffins? It's a real shame, by the way, about Anthem, because it started off kind of fun. It just kind of... they just didn't really do anything with it. It was a big old fucking fat flop. I assumed it died a long time. Yeah, same. I thought it's been gone for years. I didn't even know it was live. I'd love to play it if they had just done more with it, you know? If they had just, like, addressed all the issues people had, but... such is the way for these games. What am I thinking? Okay, so nasty spiders. Where can I find spiders and coffins? I don't think there's nowhere in Canifis that I can think of. What are the quest requirements for this? Maybe there's some clue in there. Alfred Grimhand's Barcrawl. That means nothing to me. Okay, let's just open the map. Maybe I can get a better idea. Let's look. There's being petitioned in France, specifically due to cases like the Crew. Man, I love how even France hates the French developers. Well, I mean, Canadian French developer. There's the full world map. Yellow surface. Coffin and spiders. Coffin and spiders. With a crack in the wall that leads to a secret room. Let's start near here. Maybe it's not that far from here, and I've immediately just gone too far. What about the passage underground? Where is it? White Wolf Tunnel. I don't think... no, that would be ridiculous if that was the thing. Spiders. Beware of the dog. Man, I missed that fight. Hello, Nora. Wait. It better not be poison spiders here. That's gonna be fucked up. If I have to run through fucking blue dragons and demons and shit. Speak of the French, alright? They just kind of pop up whenever you talk about them. Please don't tell me this is the case. Okay, I'm gonna look up what this place looks like. So, OSRS, heavily poisoned spiders. Jesus, I got a Rune HQ link at the fucking top? I haven't seen that in ages. Heavily dungeon. Okay, so that's Monks of Zamorak in that corner, so I don't think this is right. Heavily dungeon, spiders, no. Where else are there coffins? I don't... A secret crack in the wall. Hang on, let me check Tavley again. Is there anything that looks like a secret crack in the wall? There is a little room in there. Oh, hang on. I can sort of glance over it when I get in. Let me have a look. It's like the icy veins of OSRS. Back in the day, yeah. Rune HQ was like the big dick, and before that, I remember... What was it called? Tip.it? Tip.it or something like that? Was like the place to go. Yeah. But Rune HQ kind of just took over everyone. Until the wiki just fucking demolished everything. Is it the Falador? But Rune HQ was how I quested back in the day. And that was the shit. That was the way to do it. They just had like these big fucking... It's almost like a Word document table where like they would just have like two columns. Like on the left side you would have like the picture, and on the right side the description of the step. Man, I miss those days. But I'm not looking forward to them coming back. I'm happy with my quest helper whenever I'm playing on my main. I don't want that I don't want that to change. So, motherfucker, he is here. No, dude. Okay. Where are these coffins? Oh, they're right there. Oh, that's fucked. Okay. But how do I get in here? Because it said something about search old wall. Okay. These guys are gonna poison me, man. I need to get prepared. Where's looks super old school on the quest guides. I don't think they've changed much. I don't know if they're still updating it, to be honest. I don't know if it's just being kept up for the sake of history. I have no idea who's updating it anymore. I don't know many people who... I don't know anyone who uses it still. Let me head to... If I go to Ardoyne, I can take the port to Brimhaven. Help myself to an anti-poison. Oh, I need the Dragonfire shield as well, just in case. In case I get fucking nuked by a blue dragon on the way up there. Oh, somebody's just dropping coconuts everywhere, huh? It's like playing Peak. There's recent site news. Damn. Okay, I guess it's still getting traffic. I mean, good for them. Like, for me, Rune HQ is like a part of internet history. You know, it's part of RuneScape's history. As well as Tip It, but I doubt that's still good. Let me check. RuneScape, Tip It. Oh my god, yeah, that's still going. Although it looks a bit more sort of spruced up compared to what it used to be. But yeah, that's still going. God damn. This is RuneScape 3 stuff, it seems like, primarily focused on. I don't know if they do old school. Hey, what's up? Yeah, it's going alright. What's up with you? I'm just suffering here because I have to go deep into Tavali Dungeon and I hate myself. I'm gonna get a Dragonfire shit. I think I just get it from Lumbridge. I think. I'll just hit 74 construction on the UIM. Are you sure you're well? I just hit like 21 this morning and I was sick of it. Fuck, what the fuck? I need a shield that'll protect me. Damn, yeah, that's fucking insane. Like I've been looking at guides for leveling construction. Currently doing my I've been looking at guides and like a lot of them suggest doing mahogany homes like with like noting a fucking plethora of planks, getting the plank sack and shit like that. But obviously I'm nowhere near like that kind of level to do that stuff yet. But Jesus, like 74 is no small feat. Like, I'm currently trying to work on construction for obvious reasons. Like, I would like some things to store from like Wintertot and Temperos. So, I've never done Temperos. I've never even tried it, but Wintertot I never understood. Every time I came back to it, something changed, and I just... Like, I remember the first time I did it, I was taking health damage, and the next time I did it, I was taking frost damage, and I was like, I don't get this, I'm leaving. And yeah. Temperos is super chill, is it? I've always avoided certain minigames, not for any reason, I just like questing more. OSRS Temperos. How the fuck is it? Experience rates. What? You know, I'll look into it. I'm not gonna do it on stream, but yeah. I've done 14 KC at Wintertot and got nothing but pet F in chat. You say that. I've been fucking... I have been doing everything on my main. Like, I've been farming, like, weak bosses on my main. I've been, fucking thieving like an animal. And on my fucking Ultimate Iron Man, I got my first ever pet, which was Rocky. Just the other day. My first ever pet across all my accounts. This is the first... It happens to be on my Ultimate fucking Iron Man. And I'm so mad about it. Like, I'm so fucking furious. It's useless. I would have been good with DX or Fire Tone. Oh, man. I mean, I'm happy I finally got a pet, you know, outside of doing leagues. But, like... it's just, of all the things... Because, like, it's so annoying, especially when you're doing fucking construction and you go into build mode, and it's like, oh, you can't drop him here, you can't fucking do this, and it's like, fuck off! 16 mil thieving and no Rocky. I literally got it at, like, level 50, doing the Varlamore Varlamore stuff. It's how. Bear in mind, I've not been trying to get the pet. I've just been trying to fucking make money. Like, this is how I make money as Varlamore right now. Just burgling houses. Where was I headed? I needed to get... I've got my anti-poison, I got Dragonfire. I think I got everything I need. Varlamore's pretty chill. It really is. Like, I'm kind of glad I came across that method. Like, super AFK. Yeah, because, like, I do it while I'm working, basically. Like, I just... You know... I hear the little... I've got notifications on with the little plugin for Varlamore, and it just goes bing, and I'm like, okay, fucking click that motherfucker and rob him blind. You know? You're bagless, or do you plan on using a loot bag? The fuck is a looting bag? What? Bag that can hold up to 28 stacks of any item. Only one looting bag can be in a player's possession at all times. Tradable items can only be stored whilst in the wilderness. Wait, I'm sorry. Is this like an extra bag? I just want to clarify. I've played this game for a long time. Like, this is the first time seeing it. Like, I've played RuneScape since not day one, but year one. And I started playing OSRS like 5 years ago, 4 years ago maybe. You don't know about looting bag? No? It's like, no, it is? I didn't know about this. What the fuck is this? It's just a bag? Some UIMs play with it, but I personally use one. I don't, like, is there a condition to it? Like, is there something about it that, like... Because surely it's not... That can be obtained as a drop from any monster in the wilderness. Oh. I don't like going to the... I got sick of... Man, I spent too much time in the wilderness doing my prayer. I don't want to go back. I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty content without it right now. I imagine... I'll probably look into it if it becomes a real big issue. Like, my biggest problem right now is... I don't really have any issues right now, to be honest. I'm still relatively low, and I'm just kind of going through quests. Just sort of having a bit of a chill time with them. But I'm sure, like, once I get round to some of the big boss ones, I'm probably going to regret that. You've got to be in wilderness, but you can put items in your looting bag at the Ferox Enclave. I've heard of that place, but I've never been in there. Oh, that's like a safe spot, isn't it? Oh, you can just TP to it. Okay. Like the suicide or break it in the wilderness. Oh. Right. Okay, so that's the condition. I guess I'll probably leave it for now. It does sound useful down the line, but... Minigame telly to last man Oh. Right, I suppose that checks out. Yeah, that actually really simplifies it, doesn't it? I don't need to fucking enchant... Go find an emerald, enchant a ring. My looting bags from Slayer Masters for 10 Slayer points. Ooh. I'm a bit stumped on my Slayer one right now. I want to level my melee, but I'm being forced to, like, fucking fight lesser demons, and I can't really be asked to... You know... I'll probably just get some magic on them. Like, I recently... I'm... Bear in mind, I've had this account for, like, a year, but I've been slowly progressing through it. Like, I've not been very... on top of things... Oh, sorry. They're not that big. Like, my highest level is... That's my thieving, which is 68. But I would say, like, on average, most of my stuff is about 40 to 30. My combat's, like, up around 50. Like, my magic's 66, so basically I worked on getting access to the Mages Guild, I worked on getting access to the quest that gives me access to the vendor from the Mages Guild, And now I've got myself the vendor who sells lore runes and shit like that, so it's just kind of like, I only just recently got access to everything. Like, teleporting everywhere, that is. But my magic is pretty fucking beefy just because of all those requirements. Okay, so I need to get into this stupid place. Oh, I'm gonna save my run. I hate this. I really hate this because I don't have the agility to take shortcuts, which means I need to go get that fucking key. This is awful, man. Well, someone's already activated the armors. I suppose I'm on World 2, wouldn't they? He shouldn't attack me now. I should be fine. Ah, fuck's sake. This is such bullshit. What's my quick prayer on? But yeah, like, I haven't really gotten very far in terms of leveling and stuff. I'm mostly just kind of doing this for fun. And it's been fun. It genuinely, like, as painful as it's been to try and level... Oh, Jesus. As painful as it's been to try and level UIM, it's been an interesting experience when I've been sort of combining it with the no quest guides thing. Genuinely been enjoying it, like I've had a pretty good time with it. Alright, I need to head over here. But obviously I do have like some prior knowledge of certain things, just not quests, mostly just areas and stuff. Pretty sure the guy's around there to get the key. Fuck off, man. You fucking love that library? You can fuck yourself. Arceus Library can burn. I need to kill the jailer, don't I? What the hell? Why are all these on? What have I got on my fucking quick prayer? Oh shit, when did I turn all those on? How long's my quick prayer's been set up like that? No wonder they were draining so fast. Shutting down. Oh my god, I'm not even fucking hitting it at this point. Am I lagging? Jail key. Open door. For God's sakes. Talk to Velrak. Do you know anywhere good to explore? Okay. Yes, please. The dusty key. That's the dusty key. Alright, let's get on out of here. So now we got the dusty key to get past the demons. And then I've got to get through the blue dragons. And then I've got to get through the black demons. And then I've got to get through the poisonous spiders. A wonderful place this dungeon is. I mean, to be fair, I do love going here and farming black demons on my main, but that's because I have a bank full of wonderful potions and things. What the hell do you want? Come and solve a maze? Eat shit, man. I'm trying to do a quest. Okay. Oh, fuck. Right, yeah, maybe now's the time to turn that on. Let me through. Yes, that's right. Target me, baby dragons. Oh no. That's fine. Okay. I don't know how much the dragon fire would do if they struck me, but I don't think I want to find out, to be honest. Let's pop one of those. Run through here. Get through that old wall. This fucking guy is just like, why won't you speak to me? Alright, get over here, stupid scorpion. Ow, what the f... Get in. There we go. Jesus Christ. Well, that's part 1 done. I just have 2 more to go capture. Great. Fucking wonderful. What a delightful quest. Combat level 40 required, by the way. I only had to run through level 180 demons. I'm gonna go pee before I get the next... not pee, I'm gonna take the dog out and pee. I'll be back in like 10 minutes. And then do the rest of the shit. Ugh. Many greetings. I retrieved the scorpion from near the spiders. When I check my looking glass, there seems to be a Kharid scorpion in a little village in the east, surrounded by lots of uncivilized looking warriors. Some kind of merchant there seems to have picked it up. The east? The dwarves? Does he say village? Seems to be in some sort of upstairs room. There seems to be some sort of brown clothing lying on a table. Wait, what? In a little village in the east. Oh, I'm looking west. I'm an idiot. In a little village in the east. The goblins? Uncivilized looking warriors. The only one I can see is the goblin village. Or the barbarian village. Uncivilized looking warriors. Yeah, I think it's the barbarian village. Right, let's go to Vark. Get rid of my notepad, I don't need that anymore. Okay. A merchant has picked it up, he said. Some kind of merchant. There's a couple. I know the helmet merchant, for obvious reasons. I have to keep fucking buying my helmets here. Let's talk to Pexa. You interested in selling a helmet? I heard you have a small scorpion in your possession. Now how could you know about that, I wonder? Mind you, I don't have it anymore. I gave it as a present to my brother Ivor when I visited our outpost northwest of Camelot. I actually hid it in his bed so it would nip him. It would be a surprise gift. Fucking northwest of Fremennik. Oh, fuck me. You're just wasting my goddamn fucking run energy. I don't know about the other one, about the brown... What was it you said? I have information on the last scorpion for you. It seems to be in some sort of upstairs room. There seems to be a sort of brown clothing lying on the table. It's probably just... I wouldn't be surprised if it's just in Seer's village and just look upstairs in some of the rooms. Brown clothing. I'm thinking monks. Oh, it could be the Edgeville... What does he say about the building? In some sort of upstairs room. It could be the monastery in Edgeville. We'll have a look. I don't know if there's a brown, like a monk's robe up there, but we'll see. I could do with a monk's robe, actually. That shit's really good. Save me my prayer. Ivor. Is he in one of these houses, maybe? Ivor. Probably not in here, because this isn't exactly a place with a bedroom. Let's check one of these houses. Danzig, Freda, Inga. borrow car. Jesus Christ. Mario, Thorvald, Skullgrimmin. Friendly good, right. Let's check around here. Did he say what his brother did? No. Yes, Sasilic, wait, what? I don't see any Ivor anywhere. Wait, let me check in this building. Swenson. Maybe up in one of these. This just looks like a storeroom, though. I can't even get in. Never mind. Ivor? Talk to someone, maybe find out where Ivor is? Let me try that. Speak to Brun. Okay, whatever. Did I just not see him? Zig. There's a pretty big bed over in that one. I'm starting to think maybe it's not this place, but where else would it be? Northwest of Camelot. The only other thing is Sinclair's mansion. Wait, is there a bedroom in here? Surely not. Wait, is there stairs in this place? Does this go upstairs? No, it doesn't. There's one in there. Let me go in here. Could be that bed. Never mind. Very good. Where the fuck is Ivor? Okay, hang on. Northwest of Camelot. That's definitely what we said, right? Visited our outpost northwest of Camelot. Are there other outposts? Surely. The barbarian outpost. Right. I don't have an easy way there. I guess I'll just have to take the long route. Yeah, we'll just go from Ardoin. I was going to say it was a bit weird for it to be Fremenic, considering I'm pretty sure I have to do a bunch of quests to get there, to get anything out of there first. Let's just stay on this side of the river. And just head straight north. Hello. Oh my god, breath just stinks. Just smell the fish. Jesus. Just breathing right. I got a fan blowing into me as well. God damn. Oh. You stink. Oh no, stop opening your mouth at me. Christ. Good girl. Oh god, she just won't stop like breathing up at me and I just smell a fucking dry fish. You're nasty. You know what, fuck it, where is it? NG. So Ivor should be here somewhere. Gunyorn. He's not inside. This is he? Surely not. He might be inside the course. Oh, unless he was the guy at the water. No, that's not Ivor. Is it? What if I just talk to one of these? Grr. Oh, what the fuck? He just attacks! What the hell? Okay, fuck, I guess. Jesus, calm down. Gunyorn, he shouldn't attack. Welcome to my obstacle course, have fun. Okay. Whatever. I guess maybe he's inside one of the... Maybe he's in the other building? Is this guy still targeting me? Yeah, he fucking is as well. Holy shit, that's a lot of planks. Still not a good spot. I've been grabbing planks from like a certain area somewhere, like to just like, rather than fucking paying to get them made. Why the hell? Okay, maybe he is up at the waterfall area then. Is he the guy who does the barbarian training then? This has to be the place. I could have sworn this guy was called something else, though. There's a lot of people fishing. So can I cancel Slayer assignment without points? I need an answer to that. Hold up. That's Otto Godbless. Yeah, okay, so I didn't think that was him. Where the fuck is Ivor? Is he inside the... Huh? I'll check inside. Maybe he's inside this place. But I'm pretty sure there's only like 2 NPCs in there. Private Pendrum. Oh, I need to find a bed as well. So I need to find a place that he would sleep in. So he wouldn't just be here without a bed somewhere. So maybe it's not Barbarian up. What? Captain, Commander... Is there no place with a bed? What other place would there be? What was the other thing I was... I mean, it's still Fremennik is on my mind, but I doubt it. I checked Otto's grotto, there's just fucking Otto in there. Let me look inside here and see if there's a bed anywhere. It's not looking like it though. No. Huh? There's no way he's like upstairs in there. That would be ridiculous. I'm gonna have a look. Let me just climb this. Nope. Not in here. Nobody sleeps here. Alright, okay. I guess back to square one. What are the details? The presence my brother Ivor when I visited our outpost northwest of Camelot. This building surely isn't... I don't actually know what that building's used for. But that's not northwest, that's like directly west. Huh? Let's go to Camelot. And then maybe just look around. Maybe mining site? I don't know what that mining site is. But I'm back, welcome back. Where the fuck is Ivor? No, that's not it. Couldn't find him at Barbarian Outpost. I couldn't find him at Fremennik. It's definitely not the lighthouse. It's definitely not Piscatoris. Northwest. Okay, I'm just gonna double check. He definitely said northwest. Northwest of Camelot. What else? Huh? I want to go back to Fremennik Province just to have a look, but I feel like I don't have a choice. It's just both are equally not northwest. Mountain camp, because that's directly north. It has to be the Barbarian Outpost, but I didn't see anyone there, and I didn't see any beds there. Other buildings around? This is full of dwarves. It's definitely not that area. I'm no longer in the right place yet. What? It's gotta be the Fremennik Province, but I don't get... Try again, I guess. Wait, wasn't I just here? Did I just teleport back here? I think I did. Whatever. Is there anything that looks like an outpost out here, maybe? I don't... I'm pretty sure there's no buildings on this road, barring Sinclair's mansion. Why would it be in Fremennik? There's no way. It's got to be... I mean, these aren't... Right, these aren't barbarians. They're fucking Vikings or whatever, so it can't be here. Oh, what the... There's no way I can do that agility jump, is there? Oh, actually, I can't even see if I can or can't. Fuck it, we'll teleport to Aldorn again. Where am I going this way? I am on the brink of losing my mind. Yeah, because this is directly west, but then up here is northwest. An outpost of barbarians that is northwest of Camelot, but does not seem to have a single person named Ivor living there, nor a place that someone could just live, apparently. So what the fuck is going on? What am I not seeing? I'm about to run out of energy and I got nothing left in my ring. That outpost belongs to a dwarf, or at least that tower belonged to a dwarf spying on goblins, if I recall correctly. Like, there's just a dead dwarf up here. Well, there was a dead dwarf up here. Alright. Either I'm really fucking blind or this is really difficult to find. Is he like in? There's no way he's just like in this house, no, because that would make sense. And that's Otto in that shed. And I tried talking to a barbarian, but he attacked me. Because I guess that's just how barbarians are. There's Gagnon. Like, there's nowhere that's a fucking bed around here, so what? Where is this bed? Like, it would have to be in the... This is the barbarian outpost. It has to be, like, this little area, surely, but... I don't... Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. The scorpion's right there. You don't have to do any of that shit. Fuck's sake. Right, I'm gonna check Sears Village first for the last one. So, a room with brown clothing on a table. Let me see if he's giving me more information now that I found the second one. But my guess is probably gonna be Edgeville Monastery. But we'll see. I'm just wondering if you'll give me more information now that I've got this second one. I'm gonna have a look up here, like upstairs in one of these buildings though, just in case. Retrieve the second one. That's lucky because I got some information on the last Scorpion. Upstairs room, there seems to be some sort of brown clothing lying on a table. That's it. Okay, well, I think I'm just gonna have to check out Edgeville Monastery because that's the only place I can think of that has like regular monk robes. I could check out like clothes stores as well and stuff, but I doubt it. Oh, ladder in here, there it is. Alright, fuck it, let's just teleport to... is it Edgeville? I really should get Fairy Tale or whatever done, but that's gonna take a bit of time. It would just be nice to get, what's it called? Fairy ring traveling. Actually, no, that's not true. What I actually need is Grand Exchange teleport would be nice. So then I could cut all this bullshit. That's medium, isn't it? Medium Varrock Diary. Notes from the stronghold. Okay. Into the Tolna dungeon after completing it. What the f... Okay, whatever. I don't remember doing any of this shit on my main. Jesus Christ. feel like it probably would have been quicker if I'd have just gone from Falador at this point. Or it's an equal distance, I can't tell. Also, yeah, if there's monk robes in here, I'm gonna grab some. If I'm relying solely on prayer to keep me alive, it's like the cheapest piece of fucking gear there is, and it just, you know... and it boosts my prayer bonus. Any members of our order, you need to talk to Abbot Langley to explore the... What? When did this become a thing? Greetings, traveler. How do I get further into this monastery? I'm sorry, but only members of our order are allowed in the second level of the monastery. Can I join your order? Okay, I see you are someone suitable for our order. You may join. The fuck was the point of that? Oh, there's the monk. Okay, so I think the scorpion is around here. Hang on, I'm getting these going. That is... Holy shit, that's a huge prayer bonus. Hell yeah. Alright, where is this guy? Oh. I see him. What? Where'd he go? Oh, there. You catch a scorpion? Is that it? Am I done? Where is it? Scorpion catcher. It's a Thormac. Let's fucking do it. Okay, sorry. I'm just giving the dog some scratches. Where's Thormac? This one. This reward better be worth it, man. That first scorpion was a piece of shit. I truly look the part right now. I'm going on a pilgrimage to just absolutely irritate the fuck out of myself. I got this fucking tower. Hello, Thormac. How goes your quest? I've retrieved all your scorpions. Ah, my little scorpion's home at last. Oh, strength XP's kinda nice. Yeah, I'll take that. Total level 875. Alright, what's Family Crest? I can start this quest by talking to Dominthius at his home in Eastern Varrock. Is there anything about combat in there? Level 55? Okay, maybe we'll hold off on that for a second. What else is there? Fight arena being kind of chill. Oh, they're all kind of like level 50. Alright, fine, we'll do this. Maybe we won't. I don't know. What time is it? I don't want to pick a quest that goes on for too long, because then I kind of get stuck in it. I'll start carrying the quest items sometimes. Like while trying to grind, because I'm trying to save the quest for stream. Let me replenish my prayer first real quick. I could probably work on some of my achievements, to be fair. I might do that. That doesn't cause me any distress. Probably starting with the Varrock one. Let's do Varrock, yeah, fuck it. Enter the second level of the... I haven't done the Stronghold of Security? Wait, what? Seriously? Oh yeah, I don't have the boots. Huh. Guess now's as good a time as ever. Might as well get it out of the way. gonna give me like tiny bits of cash as well. I'm trying to save my run energy because that place can get a little annoying. With some like pretty high level mobs. Can't believe I haven't done the stronghold of security. What the fuck is wrong with me? Ugh. Okay, so Gift of Peace. I can just hug the north, it seems. Let's do that. They're still gonna ask me questions and stuff while I'm doing this. Hopefully you'll learn much from us. Please pass through and begin your adventure. Okay. I just got stuck through that door. What a weird feeling. I guess I should expect it as these evidently aren't your average kind of doors, and they talk and look creepy. Okay, what the fuck? If I just go this way, I should be fine. What's this? Oh, is there like an exit in case you get lost? When did we have Minotaurs in the game? Oh, to pass, you must answer me this. What do you do if another player messages you recommending a website to purchase items and or gold? Check out the website. It never hurts to look around. No, do not visit the website and report the player. Yeah. Nice. Damn. I'm just too good at this game. Alright, let's get through here. Oh, for fuck's sake. Answer me this. Adventurer, I'll trade you items with you for an amazing price, but you've got to come immediately to a particular place on a different game world. Hurry up. Come now before you lose out. What do you say? Okay, I'll take my valuables there now so we can trade. Nope, you're not tricking me into going somewhere dangerous. Yeah. Oh, for God's sakes. You are partway through the stronghold of security when you have to answer another question. After you answer the question, you should... What? You are partway through the stronghold of security when you have to answer another question. After you answer the question, you should... Fast as possible to get your reward sooner. Read the text but forget the info moments later. Or read the text and follow the advice. What the fuck? Just give me my gift of peace, man. I've unlocked Flap. Where's Flap? Let's jump for joy. Where the hell's Flap? There we go. Oh, that doesn't really do anything. I thought I actually get like some airtime out of that. Alright, what's the best route here? Looks like to my west. I'd say they're about the same. No, they're not. No, they're not. That's got a bit more of a maze to it. Yeah, west is the best way to go. Go west. Let's go this way. And just kind of zigzag up and down. What's your problem? Oh, for God's sakes. Where is it safe to store my... Where is it safe to use my old school RuneScape password? Only on the old school RuneScape website. Yeah, it's pretty fucking straightforward. Okay. To pass, you must answer me this. Is it safe to get someone to level your account? Yeah, of course. No, you should never let anyone use your account. Yes, as long as they don't raise the levels by too much. These answers. Where are you going? This way. Player trades you some valuable items, provides you a bond, and then asks if you want to share your account so he can help you make progress. How do you respond? I mean, I would have just taken the items and fucked off, but yeah. Decline the offer and report the player. Yeah. So, green of plenty. Oh, for God's sakes. Who is it okay to share my account with? Nobody. Come on, man. That rule is so obvious. Do I get another slap head? Slap head. Yes, I know how dangerous it might be, blah blah blah. What's my route now? A box of health. So over the top might be slower. I think I'm better off going east and wrapping around. Yeah. Oh, for fuck's sake. Website claims they can make me a player moderator. What should I do? Nothing, it's a fake. Yeah. You have been offered a free giveaway or double XP invitation via social media or a live stream. What should you do? Report the incident. Yeah. Oh, yeah, this way. He's poisonous. Yeah. Nice, thank God I didn't have to fucking answer a question. Getting sick of it. Oh, for God's sakes. You're watching a stream by someone claiming to be Jagex offering double XP. What do? Report the stream as a scam. Real Jagex streams have a verified mark. Sure. Yeah. Do I still have like a spare lobster? I do. Just in case. To pass, you must answer me this. What do I do if my account is compromised? Post on social media about it. Secure my device and reset my password. Honestly, how many people fucking follow that rule? Jesus Christ. Website claims they can make me a player moderator. That's the same. I think it's a fake. Okay, box of health. What do I get now? Idea? There we go. And now for the last one. I think the fighting boots gives me like the best stats, right? I genuinely can't remember. Cradle of Life. Oh, just wrap around north, it's that easy. Come on, don't ask me questions, man. Thank God. This way. Okay. check. What level's my ranged? I need to level my ranged. I just can't be asked. That is like my most neglected skill. How do I remove a hijacker from my account? Use the account recovery system? Yeah. Okay. The website claims they can make me a play. Oh, for God's sake, how many times do I need this one? Yeah. Give me my goddamn loot. Yeah. Yeah. More boots here, blah 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 blah. Do they have different stats? Stand foot. There we go. Wait, what do you mean stage 3? I thought I did the others, didn't I? Oh, there we go. Now I've completed the medium task. What is that? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, they're seemingly the same. Alright, what are you? Don't you give me money? Did I get money? Oh, whatever. Climb up bone chain. It's fine. Alright, so that's now out of the way. There's Varrock. Chop down a dying tree in the lumberyard. Buy a newspaper. Give the dog a bone. Oh my god. I need a fucking axe. I hate this. I'm gonna get rid of the jail key and the anti-poison. Wait. Oh, you can just carry all the boots? I thought you had to keep swapping them out. I don't care about the fancy boots. Where's it going? Bob's axe. Bob's brilliant axes. Where the fuck is Varrock? So outside the lumber mill. I also need to get some bones and give it to the dog. Is there anyone I can murder real quick? Who's got some bones? I guess I'll kill someone on the way up there. Maybe there's a guard. Yes. You will be my prey. Ow. You're supposed to be shit. There we go. So a dead tree by the in the lumberyard or by the lumberyard? I actually didn't check the details here. In the lumberyard, okay. Where's this go? Goddamn. Alright, that's that task done. Varrock. Buy a newspaper, give the dog a bone, spin a bowl on the pottery wheel and fire it in. Oh, you fucking. I was half done with that a while ago for a quest. I should have done that other. Okay, I need to get clay. I need to get a pickaxe. I'm gonna grab a pickaxe, get some clay, and we'll make our way back through Barbarian Village, I guess. Best way to do that. I guess just head north. There's nothing else that requires me to go to Barbarian Village. I don't like anything through there. To Hagalen. Have I not done that yet? Craft some earth runes from Earth Essence. Oh, you bitch. Catch some trout in River Lum at Barbarian Village. Oh, oh my god. Okay, hang on. I need to get... Oh, sorry, it's Earth Talisman. Oh, wait, I think I know how to get an Earth Talisman. Okay, 1 second. So how do I get... River trout in the river. Trout is... What is trout? Fly fishing, okay. Let me just get everything I need together. Go grab myself a fishing rod with some feathers. I need to get a pickaxe. Oh my god, my inventory is pain right now. The fuck is... There he is. Harry. Actually, I just realised I probably don't want to finish my thing until I get my herb lore to 30. Wait, this bitch doesn't sell feathers? Are you kidding me? Oh, or a fly fishing rod. Fuck. I guess Port Sarin then. It's annoying. I'm telling you, once sailing comes out, I'm gonna be having a good time sailing. Fly fishing rod. I don't need that many feathers. Maybe like 30 just to be safe. Now I need to... It's gotta be like an easier way. Oh. Back over to Falador. I need to go into the Dwarven Mine, buy a bronze pickaxe. And then... Oh, there's a fucking drop party. That's nice. Oh, fucking great. Not like I can partake in it. Sorry. Achievement diaries, but they're so rewarding. I could just get the bronze pickaxe. It's not the end of the world. I still need to wash the clay though. Where the hell do I wash the clay? They have sinks in Barbarian Village, right? I might need to go to Edgeville. What is that? Copper. Where's the nearest clay rock? I know there's some on the left, but... Yeah, whatever. Oh, this is so painful. Probably work on Falador after this, maybe. Just get some of those easy ones out of the way. Okay, that's the clay done. Well, not done, but obtained, acquired. Just need to wet it and then fucking cook it. Is there a sink in that area? No. Fuck, okay. Off to Barbarian Village and just pray they have plumbing, I guess. Wait, I can probably just look from here, can't I? They do not have plumbing, but the place above them does. Oh wait, this, I can just go to the monastery. I don't think this is going to work without a bucket though. There's a general store in Edgeville, right? Yeah, there is. Let's try this. Just drop some clay in a fountain, I'm sure it'll be fine. No, that's not fine. I need to go get a bucket. It just keeps building. Please tell me this fucking shopkeeper has a bucket, man. I still need to go fish. I forgot about the fish. I need to head back to the village once I get this anyways. Oh, thank God. Okay, so we got a bucket. There's a sink in there. Okay. Can I just wash it in the sink? Because I feel like there's some places where you can't just wash the clay. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just imagining things. Alright, that's that done. We head back to Barbarian Village. Fish a trout from the fucking river. Oh my God. Just watch me just spend 30 feathers on fucking salmon. I'm waiting for it. Salmon, great. And fucking fishing spot moves. Are you fucking kidding me? There we go. Alright, that's done. Get rid of that and that. Soft clay. We go into the pottery oven. Wait, no, not the oven. The potter's wheel. Make a bowl. Wait, let me double check. Before I regret everything. A bowl. Yep, that's the one. Bowl. Fire that fucker. Wait, can it break? That would have been a bad time to find out, huh? Buy a newspaper, give the dog a bone, speak with Haig. I'm pretty sure I do have enough kudos. Craft some earth runes. Oh, I forgot about the earth runes. Fuck. Oh, that one's gonna be the worst. I know. Oh, shit. Okay, well, this is gonna be interesting. I know where to get Earth Talismans, sort of. It's not exactly like the best way to get Earth Talismans, but I don't know of any better way. And it's to kill the fucking Earth Wizard south of Falador. There's the dog. There he is. There we go, that's that done. Newspaper, there's a kid who sells a newspaper out here, isn't there? There he is. Willow. Well, again, think you're tough, do you? I can beat anyone up. Okay, I don't think it's Willow. Is it Shylock? Good stuff. I can beat anyone up. Why do these kids just want to beat me up? What the hell? I don't know who that is. Just got a random message. I'm just gonna hold off on that. Oh, is it this guy? Can I have a newspaper, please? That'll be 50 coins. Sure, here you go. Sells you a newspaper. Done. What's next? Speak to Halen after obtaining at least 50 kudos. Cross on Earth from this Earth. Let's go see about who the fuck is Halen? I'm like, who the fuck is Halen? Oh, the curator. Oh. Is that it? I don't think that counted. How many kudos do I have? Oh, I have 28. Oh, shit. Fuck. Okay, hang on. How do I get more kudos then? I need to, like, do something in the museum. Find out about... take a map of the museum. Right. Don't I have to, like, put something somewhere? Or some shit. I don't remember how this works. Talk to the information. How can I help you today? The dig site exhibit has several display cases of finds. As you've passed your earth science, you can go through the cleaning area and clean off some finds. This will help our dig site display find more. Oh. As well as earning you kudos. If you'd like to know more about cleaning finds, just ask about something else. I could have sworn there was like ways to just update the other stuff, or is that not how it works? Am I going crazy? Like based on quests you've done. Why do I feel like... Timeline exhibit display cases from the beginning of time right up to present day. Check kudos. Discover an ancient coin, blah 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 blah. Return the Shield of Arav to the museum. Provide information about King Arthur to the museum. Describe the silver light for a museum display. Give information about the known gliders to the museum. Provide... Where? Do I just go to like any of these display cases? Let me go upstairs. Maybe I remember there's a guy upstairs. I don't know if he's the one I need to speak to. Historian, hello. Can I help you? I have some information. There we go. That's grand. We're always glad to have more facts. Now tell me what you know. Well, I infiltrated one of the gangs here in Varrock. We have gangs? Yes, anyway, I managed to get half the Shield of Arav back. Only half? Yes, the gangs had a bit of a tiff, you see. A friend helped me get the other half, and I returned it here to get my reward. Yes, yes. We're most pleased to have this shield returned, as was the king, I imagine. This is wonderful news. I shall make sure the display is updated at once. Display number 24, 4th age, year, whatever. Before I forget, we found this old lamp lying around. Oh, shit. Okay. I helped free Merlin, the wizard Merlin, using the Excalibur. Is that some kind of spell? No, it's a sword. King Arthur's sword. What kingdom does he rule, then? Britain. What? Where in Gaelenor is that? It's not. That's what I've been trying to tell you. I found King Arthur and his knights really biding their time here in Gaelenor until they are called back to their own world when they're needed. What the fuck? Okay, that is lore I didn't know. That's amazing. So he's really from another world. Well, this is interesting. I'll make sure that a display is put up immediately. Well done, display number 9. And before I forget, yeah, there's the lamp. Okay. Recently, Britain is canon to OSRS. Apparently, yeah, just from another world. What the hell? I'm just gonna skip through these. Grand Tree. Yeah. 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 Jesus Christ. Okay, we're done. There we go. So, rub lamp. Let's get Herblore going. That's nice. Clean mana. More herb. Energy pops. Nice. Yeah, that's so fucking weird. Alright, so now I speak to the curator. Talk to. Welcome to the museum. How do I get a medallion? Oh. Oh, I think that's the task done. Yeah. Okay, so now for the really annoying part. I need to go to Falador. Actually, it might be easier if I go Remington. I need to go to Remington and I need to go beat up some fucking Earth Wizards. A lot of people here. This is like a party going on. That, or it's a case of people giving prayer altars or whatever. Where's the Earth Wizard? There he is. Shit. Come on. Isn't that like 1 in 20 chance? Yeah, it is. I only know this because of the time I played fucking Group Iron Man a while back. No, I mean, I'll take it, but that's not what I want. Oh, he only drops ashes? Okay. I was going to try and bury his bones for that cheap XP. This is truly an ordeal. Where does he fucking respawn? There's little is known about the realm of Britain. Oh my, that's so weird. What the fuck? Why is Britain canon to it? That's such a weird choice. I mean, I suppose the game was being goofy, especially as like this like that Merlin's Crystal was one of the oldest quests, you know. Like, I think it was, yeah, it's in the pile of 2002 quests, so yeah. It's back when the game was goofy as fuck. Come on. Examine fungus. A sinister fungus. Come on, give me what I want. I'm just gonna have to read some stuff in the meantime. Okay. Come on, drop that talisman. Oh my god, I don't want to be here all night, man. Trying to get one fucking talisman to then throw it away after. Like, literally, this is just for one fucking stupid task. You wanted this? Fuck you. I forgot this is how hard it was to get talismans. And these are just the base talismans. These are like the easiest talismans in the game. These aren't even difficult talismans. Please. Please. It might just be quicker if I world hop, to be honest. Let's do world hopping and speed this along. I don't want to sit here waiting for respawns. Damn. That was a big fucking hit there. Nope. Oh, I have to wait 10 seconds after combat. There we go. Please. Please let this be the one. Please. I'm sure this will be it. Pop the lobster on this. On a fucking earth wizard. Come on. Nope. That's not what I need. Why? Why is this so hard? Why does it have to be like this? Damn it, Jagex! Jesus fucking Christ with these hits! Prayer this shit. Oh my god. Why? Why didn't it change what? Oh, right. I have to wait for combat. Oh my god. My patience was never built for this. What the fuck is it? Oh, okay, so I have to pop it before the cast. I just didn't know that. I thought it was based on the animation, but it's not. Christ. I'm so tired. It doesn't help that I'm like really sleepy. Still no fucking talisman though. I am in immeasurable pain. Oh my god. Let's fucking do this guy. Doesn't help, this music's like a fucking lullaby. Oh, there it is. Oh, thank God, okay. There we go. Let's get over to Varrock. Finally. Jesus Christ. I need to head to... is it this way? No, it's this way. Yeah, there it is. Why didn't you just do that the first time? I'm too tired for your shit right now. Okay. Teleport, we're gonna grab some runes. And then we're gonna head straight for the earth thing, which should be next to the lumber yard, yeah. I have to pee, I have to eat, I have to sleep. I think what I might do in my spare time is level my combat after this. Craft rune altar. Bam! Completed all the Varrock stuff. But I'm not going to pick it up yet because I actually want to get the XP lamp for my Hardblower. And my Hardblower kind of stinks. As in, I need to get it to 30 before I can use the lamp for it. Hello. Hello. But yeah, I'm too tired, man. I'm feeling fucked. I'm probably gonna have to end it here. What are you doing? What the hell are you doing? Alright, I'm going a bit. I'll give Gog a raid, fuck it. Raid Gog flat. That's it, you tell him, fuck off. Ugh. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and dip. I will see you all later. Goodbye.